and today we got to play Keyflower. So this has been on our shelves for quite some time, but we decided to break it out, and we've got several expansions or several different kinds from this, so we're excited to start.
Well, it's not just Keyflower. There's a whole Key series. There's
right, so that's...
Cathedral, Keyflower.
So we're going to start that process. So the first one we decided to end up playing was Keyflower. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because you like games. That's the whole point.
Or keys.
That's why we're here. Or flowers.
Yeah, it could be. Well, you're only going to get flower one time. It'll be cathedrals and everything else.
Well, that's true. All right. So, Randy, tell us more about this particular game.
Well, this game was released in 2012. It was got a Board Game Geek rank right now of 78. Mm-hmm. Board Game Geek rating of 7.8. So just decimal version. Nice. Designed by Sebastian Bleasdale, Richard Breeze, and the art is by Juliette Breeze and Joe Breeze. So it's another family, edition thing. Gemma Tigelares is another artist for it. Published by R&D Games and Game Salute, and it appears to be out of print. Amazon selling a copy for $65.95, and eBay it's listing up to around $125. So it doesn't look like it's available retail right now.
Okay, duly noted. All right, so let's talk about quality of pieces. This is Catan.
Yeah, I mean,
literally tiles, meeples, the little cylinders. This is like...
Yeah, and the player screens are really flimsy. They're a little cute. They're cute. They're little houses.
Oh, they're adorable.
And they're all custom. They have 6 different ones, and they're all custom, but they're very flimsy.
Door, yes.
And if you turn them upside down, the chimneys fall out. So I'm not sure if they'll go back in the box assembled is the only question. Because, the box does stand up tall, so hopefully it will. But, they're very flimsy.
So 5.25.
Maybe. I'm probably going to stick with a 5. I think it's safe.
I'm trying to be nice.
I think 5 is a safe score for this. It's nothing outstanding.
Well, it is Catan, literally.
Yeah.
The tiles, everything, the meeples. So let's then talk about theme. So the theme is obviously you're starting a town, and you're building tiles. It starts off like there's several different rounds, and throughout the different seasons, so it's 4 rounds, which is 1 for each season. You slowly start building your town. Theme-wise, the art is actually pretty. I think it's cute.
Yeah, it's very cute. I like the the general premise of this game, but thematically, all you have is art. There's really, they have a game summary, but there's really no backstory for this at all. So it's pretty much a layered on theme, but it fits. You're building a village.
Yeah. So then let's talk scoring it then. 5.
Probably a 5. Yeah. It's no more thematic than Catan as far as.
And the art is.
It's maybe the art's slightly better. I think I might go 5.5 just because I really like the detail they put into the houses.
They did put a lot of detail on it. I'm just really kind of sad about the color palette. It just doesn't seem very...
Well, it's definitely not bright. It's a very dull palette, but...
it works.
But the detail into the art is pretty incredible.
It is pretty incredible, and you like to see all the little nuanced stuff in there. So for the art alone, yeah, I agree with you, 5.5. So then let's talk about actual rules. So you read this bad boy.
Yeah, so the rule book is 12 pages long. I will say the font is pretty small. It's not horrible. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not the worst I've seen, but it is pretty small. The pluses on it is it does have the sidebars for shorthand.
Oh, okay.
I really love when they do that. And this one followed the Leah series standard that's, at least what I call the standard, because they're the ones that I see it most commonly in. That they put the sidebar as a summary, so if you haven't played this for a while, you can get it back out and just read the sidebars, and that I really love. There's no cover on it, which I love it when there is a cover. This one does not have a cover, but it gives you every detail of the game. There was no confusion whatsoever.
So what's the score for it?
I'm going to give it an 8.5. I think it's a really good book. The font could have been a little larger. And that would have been the only thing. I think it's got a glossary of every tile, so you don't have any questions on the tiles. I like that. So yeah, 8.5 makes a great score.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's actually talk about gameplay. So gameplay, it starts up with 3 of the ship tiles up here that you're going to eventually be bidding upon. This is kind of what they look like here. You also have all the spring season tiles that are available to you, and you end up drawing 8 random workers for the bag. Hopefully you don't get a bunch of red, or maybe
and you
do.
keep them hidden behind your little your village house.
Okay, so we're going to put some up here so we can kind of show you guys. All right, so it's pretty straightforward. Say it's your turn. And then I am going to take... so it can play up to 6 players. So basically each player has a side that they're going to always use when looking at these tiles. And you can either bid them or use the tile to fulfill its function. But once a color is set on the tile, that is the color for that tile only. So if I were to start bidding for red, Randy couldn't come and then bid with blue or anything else like that. He has to
unless you have a tile that bends the rules, which I did.
Yes. And so that goes there. So say if you were to bid for me and place a higher bid,
I would be placing 2 or more, and I would place it on the other side that was facing me, and now I would be outbidding her. At which point later on, she would have the option of moving that to another one.
Yeah, so I could either take this or I can ante up or, meet his demand and make it higher. You have to go higher. And say, all right, look, and then he can move his dice if he chooses not to. If you have nowhere to move your dice, because I think that happened. Meeples. That did, at some point, that happened a couple of times where, okay, by moving my meeples, I didn't gain any value, so I just left them there. You do get them back at the end of the round. They're not lost to you. And that's another key component. So as you build your village, you can also, instead of building on tiles, you can actually use the tiles available to you. So you place your meeples, and it's the same rules. So the first action, it takes you 1 meeple. Second action, it takes you 2 if you go to the same one, and then 3 if you go to that one.
And it's got a max of 6 meeples that can occupy a space.
I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Duly noted.
And so if somebody started with placing 2, you can only do a 2 and a 3 because you cannot go higher.
Oh, rough.
So I thought that was a really interesting mechanic in this game. That was very unique. I had not seen that before, where you use the meeples to be your purchasing ability, but also as a triggering action. And also, if you play them in your own, you can play them on other people's buildings or your own. But if you play them in your own village, you get them back at the end of the round.
Right. And if you bid a tile, so like say if I had to use this tile, right, and I won the bid, then I pay the bidding, but I get to keep the meeple that was actually on the tile. So that was kind of nice.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah. So there's a kind of a thing. You want to build your town, so you have things that you can do to actually get victory points in your own village, so you can spend your own. So that was actually a pretty interesting concept. So you play 4 rounds of that. Eventually, as soon as all 3 people have to pass. But if you pass and people do actions, you can get back in if you want to.
Well, one other thing is, in addition to your bidding out here, after the round ends, there's 3, or it depends on the number of players, but there's boats that are out available to you that will restock you with additional workers or meeples for your next round.
Yeah.
So you get to bid on those based upon, there's a turn order of 1, 2, or depending on the number of players. We had 3 players, so there was a 1 and a 2, and the lowest of those numbers, in our case, the 2, had the first player token, which is a little meeple that's actually waving, a little purple one meeple.
Yeah.
But that you get to be the first player the next round if you bid on that, but you also get a later pick. You don't get the last pick because you're still in the number. For a 3-player game, it was number 2, so you're in the middle. But the first player being tied to the second bid was an interesting aspect too.
Yeah, it was kind of evening out. Of course, then again, where I didn't win any of them, so I was always last and always got crap. So, overall though, the interesting is the bidding mechanism, that they could be used for bidding, they could be used for triggering. I like the fact that if you place it on your own tiles, you get those back. That particular mechanism, I actually really enjoyed. However, I didn't care for this game. I didn't think it was bad. I just didn't like it.
I really did like it, and I like the fact that the seasons had offered different types of buildings.
Right. I'm down with you there. I don't know, like, if you ask me what particularly I didn't care for, I can't even put my finger on it. Maybe because it was a little boring to me. Honestly, that's the thing. And I think for me, it's just like, all right, resources and things were so hard to come by. It was just kind of frustrating for me. I think that's really what it's like a low scoring game. Like it's just like you barely inch your way through, and y'all just decimate me. And I don't know if it's because I just wasn't in it or what, but I didn't win very well. But then it could be also the bidding aspect. I don't really like bidding very much at all, so it could be that too.
Oh, I mean,
what are the aspects that you liked about it, though?
I love the mechanics of the tiles being the workers or meeples being used as both a bidding cost or an action to trigger. I love the fact that if you played them in your own village, you got them back, or if other people played into your village, you would get them for the next time.
Yeah, there's a big, huge bonus of getting nice tiles.
Yes, because I attracted you over to my territory many times, and it helped me in the final scoring. Granted, not enough, because your dad ended up edging away because he took a lot of the bonus scoring at the end. But it contributed to my strategy of trying to get the guys.
Well, I think I didn't realize how useless resources were.
Well, they can be useful. Depends on your tiles. I mean, if you get the right tiles, of course.
So that's the route I ran with, is I went the resource route, and it was lackluster at best.
Yeah, I think, one of the problems, well, I mean, even you still got a lot of points from your tiles still. There's a few that you didn't upgrade, but you really did get a lot of
No, I
points from your
upgraded
tiles.
everything I had, except for this one. This is the only one I didn't upgrade. I upgraded those. Those are upgraded.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Oh, okay. This isn't any points. Okay. Well, then, yeah, I don't, you scored plenty from the tiles. You scored more than I did from tiles. You just didn't score bonuses because you didn't get very many of the bonus tiles.
I got 2 of them.
Well,
the 10 and the 12. I mean,
yeah.
And that's the thing is like, even the bonus tiles that were out there wouldn't have netted me a lot of points. And the ones that would have gotten mediocre return, you cream me on the bidding. But I made you pay for it, so at least there was that.
It did cost me some points, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it was enough to change the sway of the game, but it would have got me a lot closer to your dad.
Yeah.
And I made the blunder of spending one too many tiles, costing me 10 points on my own abolition there. But
yeah.
I mean, I really thought this was an interesting puzzle as far as trying to figure out what should I do, how much should I bid. I don't think I played it as well as I could have, and it makes me want to play it again.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way about it. I mean, I will say there was an interesting concept of being like, all right, where am I going to place my tiles so I can get those resources to where they need to be? I think that was actually pretty interesting. I would like to flush that out. If there's a game that flushes that out a little bit more, like tile placement, resource gathering, and transporting, that I would really be interested to play in as well. This one just didn't hold my attention.
I will say, I think at higher player counts, this could become a problematic for administratively. First of all, it does take up a lot of space as you're building
It does.
and bidding. I'm not sure what table would be ideal for this with 6 players. I mean, it plays up to 6, but logistically, I don't know how you would play it with 6, except for having everybody having auxiliary tables that are big enough to build your tiles out, which is going to be challenging.
Well, and honestly, at that point, you'd almost need a bidding.
You need to have a bidding ring. Yeah, something to put your meeples in, because it's going to be hard to keep track of if they're on this side of this tile and not next to this tile, because you'd have to have space between them.
Yeah, I mean,
so logistically, 6 players would be really tough at this game, but it plays it. So it'd be interesting to play a 6-player game, but I don't know how feasible it would be to do it. But that way you get all the tiles, so you wouldn't have the worries of the tiles that were based on the barrels not generating, being in play like what you ran into. Because I think that hurt you a lot, having the fact that there was only one, I think, that was related to barrels that actually the bonuses that were in play.
Yeah, and then Dad just
your dad
stole it from me. So yeah, score-wise though, give it a score.
I really enjoyed this. I'm probably at an 8.5 on it as far as my score.
You really did like
it. I really liked it. I love the mechanics of this, and I love that it's not something I felt like I'm done with. I'm definitely got a lot of opportunity to expand and improve on my play.
I have complete closure with this game. there is some interesting mechanics in it, and I can't let my feelings kind of deter from those specific mechanics. And there were definitely aspects where I'm like, oh, I would really like to play a game more like these aspects. I just didn't care for the way this worked out. I'll give it a 6. I would much rather play Catan, but I do think that there's some very unique mechanics in here that are actually really, really nice. And this may be your cup of tea. This one just wasn't mine.
It's ranked at 78 on Board Game Geek.
So a lot of people
well
like
respected.
it. Listen, you don't have to listen to me because obviously, I am not one of the 78. No, but I mean, there's definitely some good mechanics in here. As far as game functionality, top notch. I mean, it works. I don't know if I was just bored or what. I don't know, guys. I don't know why. I mean, maybe I didn't really like the bidding aspect. I really don't like bidding very much, and that could be possibly it.
Well, another thing we didn't talk about really is the tile placement is important.
Yeah, I did go over it. That's the part I like, to try and get your resources in one location, making sure they're close to the tiles that you need. Yeah, so I did mention that is an aspect that I liked, and maybe a game surely focused on that would have been great. The thing is with bidding games, I always lose at bidding games because I never bid aggressively, as aggressively as I should. Because when I do, I end up eating my hat.
Well, that's what kind of happened to me. Is I bid too aggressively in this game at the end, and it cost.
Well, that's because I pushed you. Because I was like, well, I ain't gonna win, so I might as well make him pay for it. So might as well make him pay for the win. That's how it was.
Yeah.
So. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. You could totally tell me I'm wrong. I believe you. There's a lot of people that do.
You can tell me I'm right, because I am.
It's very possible. Not often, but on occasion, he can be right. I always win, though. So. All right, guys. We'll catch you guys later.
Bye.